Hello everyone, it's an awesome day at Total Takeover, and today we're going to do some training. Today we're going to talk about how to connect with your pre-enrollees and encourage them to upgrade. That's something that most people aren't doing. As a matter of fact, most people aren't even logging into their back office and looking at the training. You know, it might be possible for the system to look and see if you're watching videos or not. Think about that before you complain about things. And let's get the show on the road, and let's raise the bar in our own personal excellence in marketing ethics and professionalism. Over to you, Carl.
Well, before we go ahead with that, let everyone know that we do have the patch in. We're not sure if it's working, so if they want to try and call in, they can do that.
Sure, absolutely. If you'd like to join our show via telephone today, you may call the number, and you can actually be a participant. And once you call the number, you can raise your hand. Let me tell you how to do that. You can go to ttoradio.info, and all the information is there for that, if I haven't removed it. Okay. Anyway, the number to call is 712-775-7035. I'll repeat it again later. 712-775-7035. The access code is 213-884 and then the pound sign. Once you're in, you press *6 to raise your hand. I'll see you and we'll bring you on live.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew. So today we are going to talk about converting your pre-enrollers, or your the skeptics, or the people that are just looking around to check out Total Takeover and see if it's for them. So we're going to talk about how we're going to approach them. Now, the one big key thing in network marketing in general is being able to follow up on a regular basis with your referrals, or even the people that have opted in for more information. And I'm going to talk about autoresponders, okay? In particular, Aweber, because that's the only one that I use. So, although a lot of autoresponders out there are used out there, I'm only going to be talking about that one because that's the only one I actually use and the only one I actually know. But the whole idea behind what I'm going to talk about is how to use it, okay, to communicate. Now, it's funny because I was a guy who, for I don't know, up until about 2 years ago, I did not use an autoresponder. And I was always told by all the gurus and the people that I was hanging out with that I was an actual idiot for not using them. Okay? Now, that's the terminology they use with me. I'm not saying anybody's an idiot not using it, but the purpose of what I'm trying to tell you is that this will enhance and probably create more sales for you than you can imagine. Now, autoresponders out there, depending on who you go to, they could range anywhere from, I'm thinking somewhere around $8 or $9 a month, all the way up to maybe $20, $30 a month, something like that. So, shop around. We'll find out whatever it is in your budget. I can show you how to do this without an autoresponder. It's quite a bit more work, okay, because you have to do, if you've got a big list, you won't be able to connect with everybody every day. That's why an autoresponder is there. It allows you to create with, doesn't matter how many people are in your list, the press of a button can send out your correspondence to them. Now, what am I talking about? Am I talking about autoresponder letters? No, I'm not talking about autoresponder letters. I'm talking about using an autoresponder broadcast, okay? Ever since I've been using the broadcast method in the businesses I've been in over the last 2 to 3 years, it's helped me generate over $150,000 in the last 3 years, okay, in income. And the reason I'm saying this is because that it allows you to communicate and become one-on-one with somebody versus non-communication, okay? We all get involved in businesses, and you know what? Whether you feel that you cannot connect with people or not, auto broadcasting through an autoresponder is one way for you to do it until you build your confidence up to start talking with people. Because I know a lot of people get involved in business, and the problem that they have is they're scared to talk to people because they don't know what they need to say. Okay? And I think the panel can agree with that, is that that's why people don't connect, is because they don't know what to say. So they just choose not to connect. And this is what's throwing away probably 80% of their income or more, because of when you connect with people, that's how you build relationships, that's how you build trust. When you build trust and relationships, they want to work together. And when that happens, everybody starts making money. Okay? So what I'm going to share with you today, and I'm still in the process of putting this whole thing together, but I'm going to share with you today a little bit about what I have done. Okay? So I've put together, 4 particular follow-up sequences of broadcasts, okay, to go with people. And again, I will be adding broadcasts to this place, which is my daily action plan. I'll be adding that to that on a regular basis. All the ad copy that you can use, and you can take this ad copy and do it. The other thing that I'm actually putting together right now is I'm putting together an actual list code, okay? What does this list code do? Well, when you go and say open up, like this is going to be for Aweber. I don't know how you would do that with the other ones, but the process is probably the same. I don't think you can use the same list. But the list code that I'm making will allow you to go in and create a list in your Aweber system, okay? And when you set up your list and you create your list, you'll be able to take this list code and you'll be able to insert it into there, and it will populate all of your autoresponder letters and your broadcast letters, all for you, all done, okay? So you won't have to do anything. There's a couple of updates you have to do in your own personal things, like putting in your user ID and stuff like that, but everything will be done for you. So you won't even have to write any letters, you won't have to do anything. They'll all be customized to go out in your name with your links and so forth, okay? This is something that I've had done for me in the past when I was getting introduced to autoresponders. I had, the companies I work for, they created these lists. So all you do is you put the list in. I'll have a video and all that kind of stuff explaining exactly how it all goes. Okay? But this is to help you be able to communicate with your people. I mean, I know, at least in my personal downline, I have a lot of people that I've personally sponsored where they've gone out and personally sponsored, and they're not communicating with these people. If you're going to build a list, you need to work the list, okay? And you work the list in a certain way that you don't actually get them to shut you down. You get them to engage with you, okay? It's like talking to your best friend, talking to your neighbor. You want to be communicating and giving them value, okay? Like, for instance, in a broadcast, I could send out a broadcast to somebody and saying, hey, you know what, we haven't talked in a while, but I've just created this, or my upline just created this, or our team just created this. And what this does is it shows us how to engage with people on social media, or in solo ads, or whatever. Provide that. And you know what? All the ad copy's there. So now you're providing value to these people, okay? I talked to a gentleman today who was in my downline. I'm not sure if I mentioned this. I can't remember now. That was in my downline today. He phoned me up, and he wanted to know, this is how bad things are. I communicate with him, but he doesn't read my stuff. So this is stuff that we have to figure out how to get around to, and I know how to do that. Okay, so he communicates with me today, and he goes, how much money have I made, and how many people do I have in my downline? And I said to him, I says, you know what? That's a great question. You know what? Here's your answer. Log into your back office, click here, and go look for yourself. Right? Here's what I think is happening in our industry, and I had a conversation with Tracy earlier today, is that we have a lot of new people that are engaging on the internet now, trying to make some extra money because they've been laid off or something has happened in their life they need to create, and they've never done this before. And the problem that we have as veterans, is that we automatically assume because they're on the internet they know what they're doing. And this is where, people are coming in, they're blind, and they're not sure what they need to do. So we need to provide this kind of direction. And that's why when you're sending out broadcast messages, make them personal from you. Don't make them so they look like some kind of cheaply made things. Every letter I put into my letters, into my autoresponder letters and my broadcasts is a personal message from me. And they'll be customized to be personal from you. Because if it's not coming personal from you, They're just going to think, oh, you know, this guy doesn't care. He's just sending me crap. It's got to come from you. It's got to come from your heart. It's got to be, they want to know that you're in this to win it, okay? That you're not just in this to try it, okay? So this system is coming up in the next 24 to 48 hours. I will have it available on the daily action plan that I've shared with pretty much everybody that's out there. You know, it's a generic site. It doesn't have any join links to TTO or anything on there. It's strictly training and resources that's on there. Okay, so I will be updating that over the next 24 hours with a lot more thorough information on how to start building your business. Because what's happening is we have a lot of people with a lot of prospects in their database, and they're just sitting there. You know, there's 173, 174, I don't know, 175,000 people in total takeover. You know, first of all, I still can't even get over that number. That's an amazing number to actually bring in 6 to 7 weeks. Here's the bad part, okay, is that we have about 1% conversion. Now, some people will say, you know what, those are great numbers. They are, but we should be a lot better than that, okay? You know, I'm happy with the numbers that I have, but do I want more? Of course I do. Everybody does, right? So what has happened here is, I believe, is that we've brought a lot of people to this business. They're very, very excited about it, and we've dropped the ball. We haven't gone further and said, you know what, this is what we need to do now. You have all these people here. You went and created all this momentum, and now we haven't followed up. There are people in this business right now that are registered in here that probably have, I don't know, 40, 50, 100 pre-enrollers in their downline, maybe 200, but they don't have a sale yet. And they're questioning themselves now, do I continue with this business? You know, I have all these people, none of them are paid. Is this going to be worth my while? Now, again, we talked a little bit about this yesterday. And we are in pre-launch. We don't officially launch till May 1st. But we're paying. And we are providing products. And we're adding products all the time. Are you getting value for your money? Yes, you are. You're getting value. You have these Hangouts where we provide massive value on here. I've already told the company that these things here should be actually a product because of the amount of value we provide. Okay? We have the webinars. Val provides information on that all the time. Okay? Different kinds of things, different kinds of psychological approaches and stuff like that during his webinar. He brings out these things here. That provides value. The Sunday night calls, which is kind of like webinar / fireside chat type thing with you. Again, provides value there. Whatever you decide value is up to you. Okay? But let's just put it this way, that until you start to engage international hangouts and webinars also, thank you, Dr. Michael, we're everywhere. We're right around the globe with this stuff, providing all of this information. Okay? But you have to understand that it doesn't matter what business you go to. Like I was talking to this gentleman this morning that phoned me. He went off to do another business, and I asked him how he's doing there. He says, well, I'm struggling. You know why you're struggling? Why? Because you're not educated. You're not trained. You joined a program that has the education, that's providing you the training and showing you how to do things, and what do? You throw it aside, and you go to the next big thing that's out there and try to market there, make no money, and why you don't? It's because you don't know how to do it. And anybody listening to this right now, if you leave here and go someplace else, you're not going to have much success there either. I don't care how good the program is or how good the product is. If you don't know how to market it, you don't know how to provide that value that's out there, it's all for nothing. Okay? So, I just want to share my screen quickly, and then we're going to go across. We're going to go across and start talking to everybody here. Okay? Let me just get my screen here, and we'll start sharing. I'm just going to do this quickly here, okay? Now, this is part of the action plan. Can you guys see my action plan on here? Someone just chime in and say you can see it.
We see it, Carl.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, so here's a daily action plan. Again, I go across here and I show you how you can do daily posts in there with on social media with pictures and stuff. But what I'm going to talk about right now is I'm going to scroll down. If you scroll down the page, I have a place here that says autoresponder letters. Okay, so this is what I'm updating now. Okay, now on here I have where you can get 4 pre-written broadcasts. Okay, now this is going to be all part of the list that I'm creating, which will be all updated here. But what I provide are 4 simple little letters. Okay, and they got to be personal letters. Now here's the first letter. Okay, as an example. The subject is, we haven't communicated in a while. How are things going? Okay? You're not pitching anything. You want to now communicate with them and engage with these people. Okay? I've been a little lazy in my communication, but I'm working on that. Be honest with them. Okay? Because most people are not communicating. So that is something, I mean, these letters can be rewritten to any form you want, but again, I'm talking from the heart. You know, I've been a little lazy in communication. Sometimes I am. Sometimes I'm not doing what I'm preaching. And I have to remind myself every day about that. But I do my broadcasts every day. Okay? The second letter, I'll scroll down to, is a follow-up. Just following up like I said I would. Okay? As promised, I'm making good on my word about communicating. And then you're going through and you're just following up with them to get them to engage with you. You've got your Skype in there, you've got your phone number, and you've got your Facebook. Okay? Now this is very important, and I do this every day, and I schedule these well in advance. Okay? Total Takeover webinar tonight. Don't miss it. I have my webinars scheduled. I have this message scheduled from Sunday to Thursday for the next 2 months. Okay? So it goes out automatically. And all it is it goes, hey, and then you put the code will be in here properly that you put in there. So you'll just be able to copy and paste all this, okay? So basically it's going to say, hey, first name, whatever the code is that I put in there, it will bring up their name, whoever you're sending it to. You know, tonight's our Total Takeover webinar. See how many people from walks of life are making thousands, TTO, blah, blah, blah. Talks about getting on the call, okay? There it is. And you hit them with that Sunday to Thursday. You need to remind them. And this needs to be sent out well before 7 p.m. Eastern. So sometime during the day, you can sit there on Sunday and actually schedule all this stuff. You can sit or Saturday on the weekend and schedule all this stuff well in advance. I'm going to go over and show you how to do all that kind of stuff too. Okay? This will all be in this course area with videos, a full walkthrough on how to make advanced broadcast posts. Okay? Now, the other one that I do now on a regular basis is I hit my list with the Hangouts, okay? If I have time, I send it out before the live broadcast at 1 p.m. Sometimes I have time, sometimes I don't. But what I always do is I send out the replay so that they can get in on the replay, okay? Again, you know, if you're not in everybody's face all the time, letting them know what's going on, they're never going to know, okay? And to date, you know, I send sometimes 2 to 3 broadcasts a day, depending on, you know, I'll do the webinar and I'll do the Hangout. So that's 2, and I might do one other one that's scheduled. And I schedule them, I space them, morning, midday, afternoon, okay? Now, some people might say, well, are you going to get people complaining or anything? I haven't had a complaint in Aweber yet in 3 years, okay? And I do this kind of stuff all the time. So it's how you do it. If you send 50 messages a day, yeah, you're going to get tons of complaints. But if you send reminder updates, because remember, these people opted in for information, so they're always being sent an update saying, hey, this is, you know, this is an update that's going on. So, you know, you can even put at the beginning of the letters, TTO update, you know, right in the communication. You know, whenever you're doing a Hangout or a webinar here, you can put, you know, Total Takeover update, webinar tonight, something like that. So they know it's an update. So that no one is ever going to complain about that. This is something that I am very, very serious about I have had big conversions in my business with it. I'm always ending up getting people from there onto Skype, because if you notice, I'm always telling people in the first letter to get on Skype with me, and I communicate with them. Don't be scared to communicate with people. The moment you start getting scared with communicating with people, it's game over for you. Okay? You've got to start somewhere. So start with a letter, start sending it out, tell them, let's communicate on Skype, and then get on a phone call. And then when you get more comfortable, do a video call. Okay? This is what's going to brand you as a leader. This is what's going to get people following you and getting and building your organization. So I shared this a little bit with you. I probably talked a little too long. I want to get to the panelists now. Dr. Michael, let's get your take, because I know that you do this kind of stuff too. So give your take on what I covered.
Well, first of all, let me say, Carl, that it's obvious that you have made your way over the years that I know you, and what you've said is absolutely right. You have to make your progress, and you have to learn what is good, and instead of learning 10 years, you come to TTO, you've got leaders like Carl, who has put up a system that is really outstanding from everything, Carl, that I have seen so far. And you know, I move myself around, and I'm looking to many leaders of TTO in different languages, but the plan that you have put together there, it's absolutely superb. And it really hits it straight on. I mean, this is what people need to learn if they want to be success in the business, in any business. And I mean, you've made it now for TTO, for them to learn what TTO is all about. But please correct me if I'm wrong, but it could be adapted to any business you like, really. Yeah, well, see, this is exactly what we're teaching in TTO, and if people understand this, then this is the value that you have, and this is the product. This is the you are the student, and you learn by doing, and by doing, you also learn how to make money. It's not like just on the university where you study a year, 2, 3, or 5 years, and after this you get out, you get a diploma, but you haven't earned a penny yet. And because people in the industry of network marketing, of marketing on the internet, doing it from home, they want to make money. They want to pay at least, they want at least pay the phone bill. People don't really fancy to earn $5,000-$10,000. Probably most of them afraid. But if people can see that with a project like Carl has put together, you can enhance your income $300, $500, $1,000, and you learn by doing step by step. The moment comes where you have the understanding that you're not afraid anymore of making $10,000, $20,000, or even $50,000 a year with your working from home. And I think this is what it's all about on TTO. I mean, Carl is part of one of the group chats in Skype that we had, and we still have, and he has seen me yesterday. I kicked one out because simply it's the way of the matter of the nature. People sit behind. They pay their $90 and they sit and lean back and say, okay, now I think this needs to make me money. If it doesn't make them money, and if they don't happy with all the things they're seeing, they're losing the orientation and they're losing the face of reality. Because as Carl very well said, we're still in pre-launch. I mean, the company hasn't even started to provide all these tools that will be implemented by the 1st of May. So, but still with what we have, that person alone, he had over 90 life changes under him without sponsoring anybody. You know what that means? It means that the amount of money on Pay Plan 2 that he has actually been earning covers already the cost of being a student in TTO. Still, it wasn't meant to be for him, he said, because he needed to see other things, and if that doesn't happen, he doesn't want to continue. My gosh, if the world would be so great that every time we put some money in, within a month you got your money back, and then you can still be against something, I found it very ridiculous. So I told him, okay, why don't you just shut up and get the heck out of here? Because you will never make it. And here's a point what I want to bring over. To me, the communication skills are the key, but if you are not that good in talking, etc., use the things that Carl is providing, and I'm sure if you come to the group on Facebook or into the Skype rooms or into the Hangouts, you can actually even left a message, give us the link, Carl. I'm sure you will get it, and you can just adapt it. But on the other hand, also learn to have communication directly to the people. If you get them on Skype, why do we want to get them on Skype? If we want to chat to them just by messages, we could do it on Facebook or anywhere else. We want to have them on Skype because you want to talk to the people voice by voice. And if you're not so strong in the beginning, I have seen Carl many, many times going on a three-way with other people to explain what they can do. And if you learn it by the leaders that providing you the service, then you convert pre-enrollees into real life changes, and you will show them how they change their life for themselves, because they will just be doing what the teachers have told you. Do this, do this, do this. And it's not that complicated. And you don't need to be a doctor. You don't need a doctorate. You don't need to study for years to do this. All you need to do is take yourself some time, half an hour, 1 hour a day, and follow the guidelines that you have been given. And believe me, with the videos, with the training manual, with the things in practical on the Hangouts, you get every day something that will make you become a leader and it will make you become financially independent. And you can laugh about it because it is really true. This industry gets the best paid leaders around the world. I mean, they are not even the best bank directors. Some of them earn much less than a mediocre internet marketing guru, because there's thousands of them earning loads of money. But I mean, they are earning more than most bank directors will ever earn in their whole life. So this is the industry, and this is why you're here, because you want to earn that money, and you get it step by step. But don't expect to make $1 million in a year if you in the moment don't even make 100. Because that's unrealistic. You need to go to the process of understanding. With this, I pass it back to you, Carl, or maybe we have somebody in the callers calling in. So over to you.
Thanks, Dr. Michael, and you know, I appreciate the kudos, but you know, it's what we all offer. I mean, I have my certain things that I offer out. You have your certain things, like you offer the international webinars and Hangouts. You know. People are always saying, well, you know what, I have this Spanish team or I have this German team, and they don't understand this. Well, you know, Dr. Michael has brought this to life for the company, right? All that stuff is done for you. We are going so global, it's unbelievable with this. And, you know, the education is what you need. And one thing I want to put in, Dr. Michael talked about CEOs and stuff like that out there not making that much money. You know, the one thing that you need to really understand is that some of the richest people in the world right now are between 20 and 30 years old, and their money has been made on the internet. Okay? Some of the richest people in the world, okay, that are making single 7-figure incomes, they're making 8-figure incomes. You know, they're not some old 70, 80-year-old person that spent 50 years in corporate and then running a company and stuff like that. These are young. This is the new evolution of marketing now that's coming up from all the young people. So I'm learning. The stuff I'm learning are from people that are 10, 20 years younger than I am. Okay? So it's not that I know everything. It's just that I guess I have the discipline to go out and learn. Okay, and I guess that's the one thing that most people have to engage in, is getting that discipline to go out and learn. You know, if you're buying education and you're paying for education, $89.95 a month, use it. It's here. So let's hear from, I don't know if there's any callers. Is there any callers? Yes, no, Andrew? If not, we'll go straight to Joan and then over to you.
Go ahead and go to Joan.
Okay, Joan, over to you.
One of the things that I want to say is that I have noticed over the past years that people are developing a gambling mentality. Anytime that you go in where they're selling tickets, there's lineups, especially retired people or on payday. We used to have a booth in a market where we displayed a product that we were selling. We were right in front of this booth, and it just filled up on payday. And people were standing there buying their tickets, ripping them apart to see what they had won, if anything. We also had a huge casino that was built in Windsor, Ontario, where we lived, and it was packed out. Why? People were going in, they were gambling, they wanted to make money. This is what we're dealing with today. People want money, they want it instantly, and they don't want to work for it. So what I feel is really, really important when you're bringing someone into your business is, first of all, to qualify them. What are they looking for? What are they willing to contribute to make this happen? Are they going to put their heart and soul into building a business, spending whatever is necessary to do so, and bringing and reaching out to other people who are like-minded, like themselves? That is what will make your business successful. Why do you think Total Takeover has put this program together? It's not so you can go out and make some free money. It's so that you can work and have the tools and gain the knowledge from what they've put together to properly work your business. Nowhere in the training do you see free money. It doesn't exist. You see a plan, you see a program that's there to teach you how you can make money online and to teach your people that you bring in to do the same. This is what qualifies you as a network marketer. There is no such thing as a free ride. And to explain that to you, there were at least 3 suicides in Windsor after the casino opened. There were people that went in that had money in the bank, that owned a home, that were financially independent. They went in and they gambled all their money away, including their home, including their savings, and guess what? They ended up jumping off the Ambassador Bridge in Windsor and committing suicide. Why? Because everything was gone. They had nothing left. This is not what Total Takeover is all about. This is not what we're all about. We know how to work hard. We know the steps that are necessary to take your business forward. So if you really are sincere about wanting to build a business, if you really want to move forward and build a business and successfully make money doing so, we're here to help. That's why we're here. That's why Total Takeover is here. So if you're serious, get a hold of someone on the panel or whoever invited you to this webinar. Roll up your sleeves, follow what Total Takeover and we're trying to teach you to do, and believe me, you will be successful in building an online business.
Great, thanks, Joan. You know, it's everyone on here so far has provided some really good value, and you know, the whole idea now is where we need to focus, because a lot of people are focusing in the wrong areas, in my opinion, anyway. Okay, this is just my opinion. What we focus on right now, or what the majority are focusing on, are people who are not, let's say, the pre-enrollers, to a fact where they're not actually engaging with the actual members that are actually paid. So here's an example, okay? Let's say I have 25 life changers in my downline, okay? And I have 150 pre-enrollees in my downline, okay? Where do I focus? Okay, that's the question. Where do I focus? Do I focus on the 150 or do I focus on the 25? Does anybody know the answer on the panel? Where do I focus? The 25 or the 150 pre-enrollers? Does anybody know?
You focus on the 25.
You focus on the 25. Okay? Why? Because those 25 are the ones that actually committed to going along and working with you. Now, what we're going to talk about and what we're going to talk about focusing on is we are going to go now and focus with those 25 and what they have in their downline. Okay? So your job as a sponsor is to focus on those that have committed to the cause of building this business. Okay? The pre-enrollees that you have right now, they'll get drip fed from your broadcasts and so forth. But now what we want to be doing is we want to be focusing with and working with the actual life changes that we have in our downline. Some of you may have some of them you may not have some. But what you want to focus on is working with those that have pre-enrollees in their downline. So for instance, let's say that Andrew was one of my life changers, and Andrew had, I don't know, 35 pre-enrollees in his business. And Andrew is kind of struggling, trying to figure out how we're going to work with these pre-enrollees. So what we're going to do is, Andrew and I are going to get together. We're going to put together a combination letter that's going to be sent out from both of us. And that letter is going to be sent to them for us to get on together and show them the value of this program, why they should work with us. Okay? You know, this is what network marketing was all about before the internet. You know, when I was doing internet marketing before the internet, we all used to meet in a central location someplace. It could have been a hall, it could have been a building office, it could have been a hotel room, whatever it was, or a basement of somebody's house. But what we did is all of the paid members would end up going there, and then we would invite a guest, and we would bring that guest there, okay, with a no-pressure attitude. And what we would do is we would talk to them about the successes that we're having in it. We explain to them what our products and services are and what it can actually provide, like the value it can provide to them. And then, of course, the money that they could make by being an affiliate or a reseller or whatever you want to call it. Okay? So in this business here, we actually have to kind of go back to our grassroots at the beginning of network marketing, take some of the old school techniques and work together in the current time. So, you know, what I'm going to be starting to do a little bit more than I have been, because I spent a lot of time doing you know, the autoresponder letters and the broadcasts and stuff like that here, but I'm actually going to start engaging a little bit more with my downline, because again, you know what? We all lack it. Okay? But here's the time now, because we have momentum in this particular company, maybe you've got it in your other companies too, wherever you're coming from. But if you're not making sales, this is what you need to do. And you start working with them. I'm not saying do three-way calls or any of that kind of stuff. You can, okay, because those are very effective as long as you do them the proper way. But even three-way meetings. You know, Joanne just happens to be one of my personal referrals. She actually lives here in Edmonton with me, and we have actually met in person. You know, I've taken the time to go and meet her in a general location here in the city, and we connected. It happened to be McDonald's, and we happened to sit in Playland, and I really wanted to go on the slide, but I wasn't allowed to, so I had to sit there and talk to her. But the point is that I met with her, right? And we were able to engage there. And now, because we have this relationship, when Joanne talks to somebody that may be in Edmonton, we can then again meet in a central location and do that. There's things also called meetups, okay? These are all over the place, all across Canada, into the US. I'm not sure if they're worldwide or not, but if they're not, create your own, okay? That's simple. So let's go over to Andrew, because here I am taking up the mic again. So let's go over to Andrew, and let's get Andrew's take on what he's doing to work with his team and everyone else to convert pre-enrollers to life changers. Over to you, bud.
Well, this is good information so far, Carl, and you know, there's something that Dr. Michael mentioned I want to allude to first, and you know, Joan kind of touched on it too in a different way, but Dr. Michael talked about, well, let me just put it this way. Let me just say what I've got to say about it. I see all kinds of doctors and corporate professionals scraping everything they can and doing everything they can to break into our industry and become successful. But I do not see any successful marketer in our industry, myself included, that's trying to become a doctor or a corporate professional. Okay? So that, success leaves clues, and there's a clue. Now, in Total Takeover specific, I'm seeing lots of people complaining. We have a support group, and there's lots of different complaining. Carl talked about this. There's a lot of people coming aboard that don't know beans yet. And what they do know is from the dysfunctional practices that are being taught out there, and that's why Total Takeover is here, in order to help overcome that kind of junk. I got involved with a person with some support yesterday, and it was just, it was a hard deal. If you go into your back office and study the material, 90% of your questions will be answered right there, maybe 99. If you take what's being taught in the back office and apply it faithfully, then you can at least get your Total Takeover self-funding, if nothing else. All you need is 4 people that are locked in and taking the education as a product, as a retail product, in order for your Total Takeover business to be self-funded month to month. So, what do you want to do? Do you want to talk about how it's not working for you, or do you want to figure out how it is working for everybody else so that you can replicate that? There's lots of different comments coming in onto the support group that we have that get deleted because it's whining and complaining. It's not the kind of attitude that we want on for everybody to see that that's working and reaching and getting and trying to elevate themselves and grow and change their life and not complain about it. There's things that I can complain about. But, I've been around a long time, and it took me a long time. I funded my failures for 20 years in this industry, and I wasn't complaining about it. I would go and get new education. I would learn. I had emotional and mental disorders. I had to overcome a lot of that. I'm still overcoming that, but I'm not complaining about it. And I'm not, talking about, the pay plan or the company or the officers or the product or everything, how it doesn't work, simply because I haven't applied what's being taught. What if, just think about this, what if it's possible for the people that have control of this system, when they're watching you complain on the, wherever, and not reaching and getting it, complaining about this and that, what if they have the ability to look and see if you're actually clicking on videos and studying the material or not? What if they have the ability to look and see if you've ever logged in or not? What if they have the ability to look and see if you have revisited videos and working and to get the information and take the schooling or not? Just think about that before you start saying this, that, or the other about how it doesn't work, or how it's not, or how it was presented to you and it was presented to you different than what it looks like, and it's obviously a scam or whatever. I've heard it all. Okay, get real. Okay, let's get real and log into your back office and study what's there. Once you get done studying what's there, ask what's next. Give me more. And let's move past all this. All right, so here's, Carl asked, what am I doing? Not a lot. I've been focusing on family stuff and getting a transition going, and I haven't focused on getting on the leaderboard yet, and I'm not complaining about it. I went out and just as fast as I could with 100% tenacity I accomplished getting my Total Takeover self-funding so that I could put my attention on the things that I desire to put my attention on in order to be here with this radio station to serve the whole company. And then I hear everybody complaining about this or that. Come on. Okay? We haven't even launched this business yet. It launches May the 1st, I think. You're out in May. So it's not even, you have the opportunity to be a part of this business as one of the founding members. So let's get the show on the road. Make a decision. I want to call everybody that's watching this to make a decision. Are you in or not? If you're not, then go get a job. Do something different. And it's harsh, but golly, I take responsibility for having not went and studied the material that Dave, Wallace, and Val has put into the back office as much as I know I need to. However, I am a little bit experienced, and I do know that to get my system self-funded. But if you want to get self-funded, you're not running a radio station, and you're not moving your family right now and involved in those kind of things. I am. So log into your back office and do it, okay? I have went in and I've studied the material. The first thing I saw was the YouTube training that Wallace put in there. Excellent stuff. If you've never had a YouTube account, I suggest you get one. You don't have to get on camera. You can actually type on paper or pull photos and put photos on a video and talk and take the content there and then do it persistently and consistently to let people know that you're serious about showing up persistently and consistently with this business. It's not about getting somebody in the business. I don't want to get somebody in my business. What I want to do is attract people who want to change their life and help them get in their business. That's what I want to do. I want to help someone. So, I'm rambling. Whenever I come across things that I've seen over the past couple of weeks from a lot of people, and it just amazes me how so many people just don't get it to log into their back office and get these answers. So, I could sit here and rant and rave, and you still won't hear me. So look, back to what Carl said. Let's work where the fire is. If you have gasoline and you need to fuel your rocket, okay, you don't pour the gasoline over on the wet launch pad and on the disabled rocket that's not working. You pour it into the rocket that operates, that's actually there and working. It's said another way. You don't pour gas on wet wood to try to dry it out when there's plenty of other dry wood here already on fire. You want to get the fire bigger, so throw the gasoline on the fires that are already there and make them bigger, and then throw more dry wood on those instead of trying to dry out the wet wood, because the wet wood will stay wet even though you use up all your fuel on it. What else can I say? Carl is providing a training here for you to take and connect with people. First, you got to have pre-enrollees. So there's training there how to get those. You can use solo ads, Craigslist. Okay, that's something I haven't done yet. I know how to do it. I did it for this little temporary apartment that we're in order to find somebody to take over this apartment. I know how to use Craigslist. I haven't faithfully done it for Total Takeover. I've been focusing on other things, but you can. Just because I'm not doing what needs to be done doesn't mean you can't. And Carl's providing the training for this. It's there. It's in black and white. You can take a little tenacity and you can go through it and you can do a few simple things and attract some people and make your Total Takeover self-funding. From there, it's all the way up, baby. That's all I got, Carl.
Well, you know what? You gave a lot.
We do have a caller.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Okay, bring him on.
All right. Joyce, you are on the air.
Hi there, this is Joyce Cologne. I just wanted to take a moment first to acknowledge everybody on the panel because I think everybody's doing a great job. I think these webinars and these Hangouts are very powerful. So I'd like to acknowledge Carl, Joan, my spiritual mom, Andrew. That was a great point about the YouTube videos because those are also very powerful. And for those people who are hesitant about showing themselves on camera, that's a good point to put everything up on a video and then just speak through, use your voice to speak through and explain everything. So thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Joan. And also Dr. Mike. I like to shout out to him too because many people, I don't know if they know, but I speak Spanish as well. And the Latin American market is very big. And for me to be able to steer my Latin people over to Dr. Mike is something that I'm just very grateful, and I know there's a lot of people that are very grateful for what you guys do. So on behalf of all of us, I'd like to thank you all. I also would just like to point out that I was in the real estate industry years ago, and we have a saying that says location, location, location. In the network marketing industry, I think it is communication, communication, communication. some of the top leaders in this industry are already in total takeover, and they're on that leaderboard because of communication, communication, communication. That's how they got there. The other thing I wanted to say was that faith without works is dead. We can have all the faith in the world, but without working it, your faith is useless. So just get with the program. That's all I wanted to say.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joyce. I'm going to take you out of queue, and you know how to put yourself back in queue. If you want to raise your hand again, just press *6 anytime. Good to have you on the show. All right, back over to you, Carl.
Great, thanks, Andrew. I just want to kind of just add on to what you were talking about. Yesterday, those of you that were on the panel here knew I talked about a specific company. I'm going to bring it out again. They're going to get kudos from me, and especially my sponsor that was in that previous program. Now, the program I mentioned yesterday was Empower Network, okay? I have to actually thank a lot of the leaders over at that for a lot of the success that I have today. But the story I want to share is what I shared yesterday, okay? And this is where I want each and every one of you listening to understand where you are, okay? 2.5 years ago, I joined Empower Network 4 days after they launched with my sponsor, Alex Zubrev, okay? Alex, it was a very, and still is a very, very focused individual, and is still promoting Empower Network to this day. He hasn't done anything else but Empower Network to this day, okay? Now, here's what happened to me, which is a regret, but I had to do this in order to learn the lessons I know today. So I joined with them 4 days after they launched. They were going through some horrific issues. Their pay processor wasn't working, then it got shut down, then they got it back, their back office wasn't working, then their website went down, and this was on and off for 8 months, okay? I didn't even give it that long. I left after 3 weeks saying, you know what, I'm not putting up with this pre-launch here. I don't think this company's going anywhere, okay? 2.5 years later, this company has produced 14 millionaires and still has one of the most prolific speakers in the industry, and that's David Wood. He's probably one of the best sales converters in the industry. He knows how to get into the minds of people and make them buy. And I've learned a lot of methods from him. I still, because I bought the products there, and this is a point I'm trying to make, because I bought their training products, I have that for life. And I go back and I review these products all the time. Why? Because I need to learn. I'm still learning today. Okay? And I go back and I review all of the stuff that I bought because I paid big money for it. You know, over $5,000-$6,000 I spent on this product. So I don't throw it in my virtual closet like all the other crap I've got in there. I've learned that I need to utilize and learn from the education that I bought, because that's what makes me money. Now, why did I tell you this story? Because had I stayed where I was with Empower Network, my financial life would probably be in a much different place. Alex Zubrev, when he started with them, started with, he was still working a full-time job. He wasn't making ends meet, so he brought on Empower Network to fill that void. Today, Alex has made almost $1 million in 2.5 years. I challenge anybody who is listening on this call to go and find yourself a job anywhere else that will pay you $890,000 in 2.5 years. You're not going to find it. Only online will you find that. This is one of these programs that could change your life and make things so incredibly different. I've been in this thing for 6 weeks, and I'm already making almost a full-time income. Okay? I'm telling you that you can quit today, do whatever you want, go get a job someplace, but it's not going to pay you $5,000 to $10,000 a month. Okay? This is a life-changing program. That's why we're called Life Changers. So you need to think about what we are producing and helping you with here. We are providing an education, not only in the back office that Andrew mentioned and Joyce mentioned and Dr. Michael mentioned, right? But we're also providing this here for you here. I'm going out and I'm creating a whole new set of training. I could turn around and sell that easily. My wife actually tells me, sell it. You're giving away too much good information. Make some money with it. My point here is that I'm here to help everyone make money, including myself. If my referrals are making money, then I'm making money. But this is not a world that we live in where we can't, that we have to do it all by ourselves, because you can't, okay? It's very difficult unless you are a highly seasoned veteran with knowing everything to do. You're never going to do this on your own, okay? And I told you that story of my journey through, because that's part of my journey of my networking life. It's the lessons that I learned along the way. And I had to learn that lesson to be where I am today. Do I regret it? Yes. Am I sorry that I let that happen? No. Because I learned some very valuable lessons. I still made some great money along the way. But I've met more people in my life through this journey than I could ever ask for. You know, and these are quality people, okay? I'm not saying that people you know may not be quality. When I'm talking about quality people, I'm talking about people that engage with me, lock arms with me, and go and create money with me, okay? That's why we're here. You know, if we're here to make friends, then that's what we do on Facebook, or that's what we do someplace else. But here is where we engage in a financial process. We're here to create money, create business relationships, work and lock arms, and build our way to financial freedom. And I'm telling you right now, the people who are in TTO and continue to stay with Total Takeover, this is the journey they're going to see. They're going to see some life-changing things that are going to happen in the next 2 years. We're still in pre-launch, you guys. And I need everybody to understand this. We're in pre-launch, okay? Okay, I need to get over to Joanne because we've locked her out because she was locked up with her kids. Her kids finally untied her, or her husband did, so now she can talk now. So over to you, Joanne.
Okay, thanks for that, Carl. I agree with all the different points that people raised on the panel, and one thing when we're talking about follow-up, and Carl, you're talking about the autoresponder letters and broadcasts, it reminds me of a statistic that I've heard several times, various training webinars I've attended, so I just wanted to share it with you. So it has to do with when you first make the initial contact and, of course, following up with people, the percentage of people about getting a sale on the first contact, about 10%. These are like general sales statistics. Second contact is about 25%, and then goes up, and 80% of your sales are made on the 5th to the 12th contact. So when we're talking about autoresponder letters and following up with people and connecting with them on Skype, and you're just like talking with them and being professional about them, getting to know them better. If 80% of your sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact, what does that tell you? You know, and I've also heard again, the fortune is in the follow-up, and I think especially with new people who get into this industry because they lost their job or just need to make extra money or whatever the reason, people aren't taught that, or they're taught very poor skills and sorry. So yeah, with the fortune and the follow-up, and you need to learn how to follow up and learn how to do it the correct way and how to have a conversation with people and what to say, and that was a big stumbling block with me, and what helped me was just to focus on, when I talk to a new person, just focus on like, okay, I want to get to know this person. I want to know, like, okay, they're in the industry. They do online marketing. That's awesome. So, and I want to know the story about that. Like, why did you get involved? How long have you been doing it? And you know, and also when you're approaching people, have the attitude of, how can I help you? TTO, we offer, you know, a really great education. We have great leaders and people who you lock arms, and of course you do the work, and you learn, and you can earn while you learn, and you earn while you learn, and learn how to and of course, you know, you want to qualify people, and find out, well, how can TTO help you? Are you looking for more sales or signups? Are you really struggling with that? Well, then, you know, hey, come take a look at this. I don't know if it's for you, but, you know, just get on a webinar and find out if it's for you or not. And if it is, well, great, because we have all these different, Carl, you know, you have the 90-day plan and others plans that you're putting together to help us, and those, and log into your back office, and those, you know, you take action and go through the steps, and you'll learn, and you'll get better at it, and keep practicing, and just, you know, the more people you talk to, you're going to stumble, you're going to be terrified at first, because I certainly was. But just, you know, it's a process, and you just need to learn how to work through it, and just keep going and keep moving forward. And back to you, Carl.
Great, thanks, Joanne, and thanks for sharing those statistics, because I think a lot of people don't realize that these kind of statistics that are out there, and you know, they're true statistics. I hear it all the time. I read about it all the time, and I experience it all the time. Okay. You know, I don't refer the amount of people I do in my business because I only send them one letter. Okay, so anybody else want to chime in on on this statistics type thing?
I just have one comment to make. When you go and you apply and you are accepted in a conventional job, say for example, when I started from high school, I became a legal secretary. When I went in and did my interview, the first thing that the lawyer said that hired me is, you are on a 3-month probation program, because we want to see how you perform. We want to see what you can contribute. We want to see how well you you know, you interact with the staff and with the people that come into the office. It is the same in network marketing. You can't come in and expect the next day that you're going to look in your back office and you're going to have floods of money coming in. What you need to do is you need to spend a period of time, and I suggest you give yourself at least 3 months to learn the program, to be able to interact with your sponsor, to be able to learn the business, how to best use what you can contribute, and build from there. And I can guarantee that if you really apply yourself, if you really take this seriously, if you're not in for a free ride, but you're really serious about building a successful business and having a regular income, you need to give yourself at least 3 months to get to understand everything that you need at your fingertips to be able to build a successful business. This is a learning process, and it's not going to happen overnight. But if you're serious, believe me, it will happen.
Great, thanks, Joan. Anybody else want to chime in on this? Dr. Michael?
Yes, I want to just quickly catch up on this here again, and many years on the industry, and I can tell you, and I think we had it in one of our Hangouts before, if a business has a conversion rate of 1%, they are doing extremely good. And TTO is much better than 1%. It's actually 1.7%. An extremely good 1% means from 100 people you speak to, one person actually will do the job. I mean, this is over the average, actually, because if you're putting out mail shots, you're making promotion, you're doing qualified leads, follow-ups, and you don't talk much to people. You maybe make it all on the virtual level without talking many people. You will find out that on 10,000 emails that you send out, if you get from there 50 people that actually register for free, you're already outstanding, because most things will be done. People just don't care. They just don't look at it. And if from those 50, you get one person that would actually upgrade, you're really happy. But here in TTO, the conversion rate is close to 2%, and that is a tremendous amount. And believe me, I've been studying statistics. I love statistics. I teach my groups about statistics, because if you're a marketer and you don't know the statistics, see where your business comes from, where which promotion works for you, you're still not there yet. I mean, it's good to make lots of promotions, but if you don't know where the success comes from, it's like shooting out in the dark without seeing anybody, and maybe you hit somebody at the right moment. But here, the statistic speaks entirely in favor of TTO. This is why I'm here, and of course, I have seen also the things what Andrew mentioned, all the people complaining and all those boards where they want to dump crap about the company that is outperforming, because this is what TTO is doing. And I tell everybody, it's not about how much money you earn here, it's about how much you want to learn. And this is a real key of TTO. And if you learn, your money earnings will become automatically. If you're in a desperate need to repay what you're investing into yourself, well, then you get busy, a bit more busier. But if you really just want to understand how the internet marketing works, how the world right now works, then you have to invest it into yourself, and you do it for yourself, and then you get the thing for it. And again, thank you very much, everybody, for attending today on this Hangout, and it was great. I mean, I've got quite a lot of feedback. We had more than 30 people on the Hangouts I was watching, and it's very much appreciated, all the comments and the call-ins. So if anybody has anything that they want to add on, please call in, and I pass it back to Carl or to Andrew to see if there's still somebody hanging on the line.
Awesome. Andrew, let us know if there's anybody calling in. So,
always do.
Yeah, this has been a great Hangout today. And, you know, I know we were talking about converting enrollers to life changes, and I think we covered a little bit on that. There's more that's coming on that. We'll probably be doing a lot more of that next week. But, you know, now's the time. This company here is unique, okay, because we actually have a cutoff every 2 weeks, okay? And this is how the company is going to run this, with a cutoff every 2 weeks. What does that mean to you? Well, that means more money in your pocket much faster, okay? Most companies have cutoffs once a month, okay? That's what it is. But because we're doing it twice a month, we're accelerating that money process, because we're cutting it off. We're compressing the matrix up every 2 weeks, so more money is flowing into your matrix than it would be if we were having a one month cutoff. Okay, this is what's really, really interesting. And again, you know, I really want to put a lot of emphasis on the matrix as not being the most important thing. The matrix is where the least amount of money is that you're actually going to make in this business. Okay. The core money, if you're looking at strictly just a money point in this business, it is the pay plan number one. You know, for every one person that you refer into that business, with the exception of the second and the fourth one, you are making $45 a sale plus $1 in the matrix. Okay, so it's actually $46. If you're going to just focus on the matrix, which is why everybody does that, I don't know. There's something psychological up here about matrices for people. But you want to make $45, now you got to wait for 45 people to fall into your matrix. Now, here's the other side of the coin I want you to think about, okay? Let's say you're focusing on the matrix, and 45 people that you sponsored fell into the matrix. So you've made $45. You think you made $45. When in actual fact, you've made almost $2,700 if you personally sponsored 45 people. Okay? Because you're looking at $2,700 or something plus $45 that's in the matrix. It's roughly something like that. I'm that number. Okay? So this is if you're personally sponsoring. So where should your focus be? Again, pay plan number 2 is a safety net. That's what I call it. It's a safety net. It's for those people that decide that they want to be a life changer, go in and change their lives, and they go in there and they start marketing the program. Maybe they don't get a couple of sales right away, but some spillage comes below them, so they're making $1 a person that falls down there. That's just a safety net of money that's going to come into them. That's not that's your marketing budget or your lunch money or whatever you want to call it. That's what I call that. Okay? Because if I put all my concentration on $2,000 a month, that wouldn't even support me. Okay? And it probably won't support most people out there. And I'll tell you why. $2,000 a month, it can't be a full-time income. Okay? I'll tell you why. Because the average rent, okay, is anywhere from $700 to $1,500 a month, depending on what you're renting. Okay? The average grocery bill for 2 people in a single month is around $300 to $350. Okay? So now we're up to $1,700. Okay? Now you have your utilities. Depending on where you live, average utilities, if you're up here in Canada and you're living in the Great White North, you're looking at $300 a month. Okay? That's roughly what it is. Ask Joanne. Right? It's roughly around that. Okay? So now you're up to almost $1,900 a month. Okay? Now, if you drive a car or take a bus or anything like that, it all depends on how often you do it. You're at over $100 to $150 a month. You're over $2,000 a month now. Okay? So, can you live off of $2,000 a month? No. Can it be a great add-on income to an existing full-time income? Yes. You know, $500 to $1,000 will completely change people's lives, you know, dramatically. But in our business, that is not something that happens like that unless you're doing the work. If you're waiting to see what happens, I will tell you personally, and this is my own opinion, that for you to make $2,046 every single month in the matrix, if you don't do anything, it will probably take 18 months to 24 months for that matrix to fill. Because it'll be all based on the same attitude that everybody else has. I'm going to wait and see what happens. And in most cases, it never does. Because people will not wait 24 months to fill a matrix. If their matrix doesn't fill in 30 or 60 days, they're out of here. So, for all of you listening and thinking that, every single opportunity you go to on the internet that has a matrix or something like that, and remember, ours is non-qualifying. Most of out there qualify. So, going out there, that's your time frame. Okay? So, if you don't think that you're going to actually, if you're looking to make $2,046 in 30 to 60 days, and you don't want to do anything, this program won't do it, and neither will anything else out there. Okay? And if it does, you hit the jackpot, take that money and go buy as many lottery tickets as you can, because that's your day. Okay? So, Dr. Michael, thank you very much for coming in. I know you got to go and prep for the German one, so thanks again for coming by. Anybody else? I don't know if you want to do any last comments on here. We're just past the hour here, so we should probably be shutting down here. So I needed to get that out. Any other panelists? Any comments? Yes? No? None? We're good for today. Okay, everyone. Thanks again for putting up with me one more time. You don't have to. You got the weekend off now, and then you can start again next week. Okay, but we'll all be back here. We'll all be sharing our stuff. More training, more of everything to come. So over to you, Andrew, to close out the show.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, viewers. I did have an answer to your question, Carl. What am I doing? My team and I have been getting together to come up with what you have just delivered. So that's what we're going to plug into, and that's what we're going to do because it's more of us involved by doing that particular system. A buddy system to where you have an email that goes out to your pre-enrollees that connects your pre-enrollees to both yourself and your sponsor or the upline team in one central area where they're invited to come to that team and be a part of that replicatable system. Then that's where it's at, because we're creating relationships. And if you want to change your life, then get plugged into Total Takeover. If you don't get plugged in, you'll end up flushing yourself out, and we can't help you. So anyway, thank you for joining this show, and I want you to subscribe. Below this video, there's a subscribe button. The best way to do it is go to ttoradio.info. All the information you need there to subscribe is there. And you can also watch all of the archives. Also remember, well, we're here Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then also remember, each night, Sunday through Thursday, Val does the product presentation, which also has the compensation plan presentation in it. It's a product we're talking about here, and it's education, and we all need education. So I am my best customer. I get the education no matter what. I'm locked in at $89.95 if I have to go out and wash a car to come up with the money, okay, or wash a bunch of cars. So get committed to yourself. I spend more time and energy and money investing in growing myself than I do on building my business. So I invite you to do the same. When you do, then you'll be able to do things like I did years back. I actually made $75,000 in 3 days because of my marketing success education. Right? In 3 days, and all the people that were involved that put the money involved in that are still happy today. So you can change your financial situation. All right. ttoradio.info, that's where you subscribe. And remember, it takes leaders. Let me see if I can do this right. It takes leaders, it's hard to navigate, leaders with vision to lead people with dreams. Let's participate in our network marketing ventures the way that we would want our personally sponsored to participate. Bye for now, and we'll see you Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.